On va commencer en 10 minutes. Some of the meeting today will take place in French. Please pick up an interpretation device if you haven't already done so. It's located just outside of the room. Please also make sure you have your voting device, which is available just by registration. On va commencer en 10 minutes. We will start in 10 minutes. Merci.
We'll be starting in 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Is my mic on? You guys can hear me? Make a thumbs up. Thank you. No, you can't hear me? So we need a higher volume. And how about now? Louder? I'm seeing louder. Louder. Are we good? Perfect. Good morning and greetings, everyone. My name is Cassia Cantro, and I am proud to represent CHF Canada's Governing Board of Directors as your president. Happy Pride. Happy National Indigenous History Month. And happy International Year of the Co-op. So much. You guys are a pretty good crowd. Pretty easy, I'd say. So much to reflect on and so much to celebrate. This year's annual meeting theme is Building Homes, Changing Lives. Building homes is absolutely necessary, and changing lives is what we all already know that we do so well. Over the past few days, you've attended workshops and had discussions with fellow cooperators that have been informative and inspiring. I know that each and every one of you is doing your part to build homes and build community, changing lives for the better. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you here today and to call our 2025 CHF Canada National Business Meeting to order. Emmanuel?
Hello, now can you hear me? Awesome. Hello, my name is Emmanuel Proud-Thompson, and I am the CHF Canada Board Director for New Brunswick and PEI. Go Maritimes! It's wonderful to be gathered here together with you for CHF Canada's 57th annual meeting. I hope you had a wonderful time so far, even if your throats are sore and your feet are heavy from all the talking and dancing last night. Wasn't that social event fabulous? I know it was worth it. As we did last year, we have a virtual component to this meeting. I'd like to extend a warm greeting to the delegates and observers attending the meeting online and from across the country. When we vote on resolutions later today, you will see results from both people in the room and people online. Finally, I want to remind you that some of the remarks today will be in French, including a few of mine. So if you have not yet done so, please pick up an interpretation device. And just friendly reminder, Channel 1 is English and Channel 2 is French.
We have a full agenda today. In addition to making important decisions together to keep Canada's co-op housing movement strong and aligned with our vision of co-op housing for all, we also have some speakers and reports and fun. I promise we will also have fun. We will feature guest speaker Robert Wessling from Cooperators and bring you a panel focused on young leaders in the cooperative movement. We will consider important resolutions, hear updates from key parts of our sector, and much, much more. But first, we want to start off with a land acknowledgement, and I'll turn it over to Emmanuel for that.
Thank you. La FHCC s'est engagée à travailler.
Give people a moment to put their
Désolé.
people like me.
Put the ears on. Everybody ready? Tout le monde est prêt? Ouais? Parfait. La FHCC s'est engagée à travailler.
The Federation is committed to work actively for reconciliation with First Nations and the Métis and the Inuit in the context of our work to work together. We encourage all cooperatives to better understand the Indigenous communities locally and nationally, and to work with them.
So all the more reason to continue or start your journey. Today, we want to acknowledge the land on which we are gathering. This land is traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and now home to many diverse First Nations and Métis people. Nous reconnaissons en tant qu'une organisation.
We recognize that as a national cooperative movement across the country, we work together on the traditional territories of the First Nations and the Métis and the Inuit. We express our thanks to our First Nations here on Turtle Island, where we live.
An honor to introduce a mayor who not only understands the importance of cooperative housing, but who has lived in a housing co-op and continues to champion our movement today. She's also a long-standing supporter of Pride. I'm so pleased to introduce Toronto's 66th mayor, the first person of Asian descent to serve as mayor, and the first woman to hold the position after amalgamation, Mayor Olivia Chow.
Hey! Good morning. Is this better? This better. Wow, welcome to Toronto. Yeah. It's so wonderful to have a whole room, look around you, of people that believe in the cooperative movement. Walking in here, I immediately felt that energy. Yes, you heard early on, I lived in a co-op. How did I get there? My mom and my dad and I moved over to Toronto from Hong Kong in a long time ago. I was 13 then, okay? I don't give away my age too easily. My dad, like a lot of immigrants, had a really hard time finding a job, and he was all frustrated, he had a nervous breakdown. He started getting physically violent. It was really difficult for my mom. But it took a long time until I was able to be financially independent, got out and got a job after university, rented a basement apartment that I was able to get her into her own space, into safety. But it was a basement in a house. It was dark, and we shared a bed. We had a fight whether I'm on the mattress or she's in the bed. You know how mom is like, right? So I ended up in the mattress. No, I ended up in the bed. Yeah. She decided to be on the mattress, and I think this can't go on. And then I saw there was an ad that a new cooperative is going to be built, is being opened in September. It's called the Hazelburn Co-op. And I applied. Yeah, I was happy remember that. Yeah. So I applied and I got in. Now, it was not subsidized, it was market. But even for market, for my mom and I, she was a maid, and I barely, I made a little bit of money, not that much. So we could afford it. So I moved in. Guess who else moved in? Another guy called Jack Layton moved in. Wait, but different floor. He was on the 10th floor, and I was on the 5th floor. We laid eyes on each other on the elevators, and you know what happened afterwards. Yes, cooperatives movement can bring people together. More ways than one, right? And our kids learn to clean the floor. Learn to get the meeting room ready for meetings, learned the importance of a newsletter, keeping everything orderly, got to know people in the building, first name basis. It was amazing, right? It was amazing. So Jack Layton and I thought, we need to build a lot of cooperatives housing all over Toronto. And in the 80s, we did. And then in the 90s, we did too. And then, yeah, you know where this is going. Mid-90s, the government and the political ideology of the day say the government should not get into the bricks and mortars of building housing. Abruptly, the federal government stopped. Brian Mulroney and then Sean Chrétien. The provincial government, in my case in Ontario, Mike Harris, the premier, stopped. Okay, I know, I see some groaning. As a Metro Council, I was able to save the last one that I opened back in those days, the Older Women's Co-op on Esplanade. Yeah, we saved that one. The only one, the last one. Cutting that ribbon was bittersweet. I'll tell you why. Because I knew it was the last one for a long time. Because the movement was, the government completely stopped. And you and I also know what happened. We declared the city in Canada that homelessness is a national disaster. We declared it 20+ years, a long time ago. And it's still a national disaster. The disaster has gotten worse, except now people woke up to it. We've been talking about the importance of building housing, that government needs to build housing, right? We have to be involved. So, recently, there was a report that got published. This is interesting. Who wrote this report? A task force called More and Better Housing. Who's on this task force? It's chaired by the former deputy leader of the Federal Conservatives, Lisa Raitt, former mayor of Edmonton, Don Iveson. One of the members is Prime Minister Mark Carney before he became the federal leader. And you know what this report said? The task force released a report that said Canada's non-market housing sectors makes up only 3.5% of the housing system, half the size of those of our OECD peers. Okay? Really lagged behind. And of the 5.8 million homes, new homes we need to build by 2030, 40%, okay, 4 out of 10 should be non-market. This is where you come in, 40%. That's 2.3 million homes. Think of how many cooperatives we can build from that, eh? Yeah. You and I, we all know that non-market housing is the way to go. We have to have our share, right? So now, the tide is turning, okay? We have a model. We won awards in the 70s on the cooperative model, right? We won the Habitat model in Istanbul in the 70s, which we won because of the co-op movement. Canada won. So we know what we need to do. And being the mayor has this advantage. I get to move money around a bit. And yes, in Ontario, they give mayor more power. I thought, okay, I could, thank you. So we are building on-market housing, and right here in Toronto, I don't know whether you've gone and checked it out. on Arrington Avenue East, 1,000 units of co-op housing is being built right now. Woohoo! Yeah. It's big, it's beautiful, it's bold, it's all the things we believe we know what cooperatives is all about. You don't need me to describe it. So it's amazing that we are able to do that. We need to do a lot more. You and I need to do more. We are spending a bit of money purchasing old buildings. Okay, buildings that are that the tenants are facing renovation or demoviction. We're buying those, well, not we provide funding to purchase the building so that they could be either cooperatives or land trust, right? So we call it the Multi-Unit Residential Acquisition Program. In BC, it has a different name. The federal government gives it another name, rental housing protection, something like that. Renters protection. So there are all these programs, and this prime minister said that he believes in building affordable housing. We need to tell him that affordable housing means cooperative housing, not 100% rent geared to income housing. It needs to be mixed income, and best model is cooperative. So there is this opportunity, unique opportunity, where all the stars are aligning. Okay, in Toronto, the Mirror program have 1,000 tenants that now own, like, you know, they manage their own buildings, and we can do so much more. So today, and this, when you are gathered here, I have a challenge to you. It took several decades for the government to understand and know what you know. This is a unique moment in time. You are at a place that we can make a huge number of difference to millions of Canadians. With this mission, with your knowledge, your expertise, your connection to your own community, I know in Canada, we will be building so many units of cooperatives that we will be once again getting awards worldwide because of the work you are doing right now and in the future. So I want you to remember, we are proud Canadians. Yes, we are proud Canadians. Why? Yeah, we're not the 51st state. Why? Because we know how to take care of each other. That's who we are. And I just want you to remember that and be confident, be bold, even though some of us may not have the muscle memory. Some do, because I'm old. But some of your younger folks may not have the muscle memory. Let us do this together. And together, let's build an incredible co-op movement. Let us build a city, Toronto, build a country that is more affordable, more caring, more cooperative, where everyone belongs. So enjoy your time in the city. Pride is on. We are life with color and joy, just like the co-op. Have a fabulous meeting today. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you. Can I have the mic? It'll work eventually. Thank you. Can you guys hear me? No, you can? Okay. It's hard to tell because there's all this crowd noise out here. Thank you, Mayor Chow, for sharing with us your lived experience and for your leadership. We look forward to working together to have more co-op housing built here in Toronto. And as a small token, a gesture of thanks, I would like to offer you this small gift.
Oh, I get a present. Of course. Wow.
Of course you get a present.
Cooperative housing. Thank you.
I want to recognize an important anniversary. This year, the Agency for Co-op Housing turned 20. They grow up so quickly. Next thing you know, they'll be off to university. In all seriousness, it's hard to believe it's been 20 years since the federal government asked CMHC to sign an agreement with our own sector-based agency, the Agency for Cooperative Housing. Since then, the agency has helped over 400 of its client co-ops transition through the end of their operating agreements, supported them in renewal of their properties, and then transitioned to a new rental assistance program. The agency has taken a data-driven approach to their work. Agency client co-ops also receive business intelligence reports to glean where they are doing well and where they need to focus their attention. Very plain language financials is what they call it. It's fantastic. They are a key part of our sector, and so thank you and congratulations to the agency.
I'd like now to take a moment to recognize another key organization in our sector, this one with global reach. We are so pleased that Rooftops Canada has been able to join us at this year's annual meeting, along with representatives from their South African-based partner, SERI. En effet,
in fact, the theme of our annual meeting this year is to build housing, changing lives. At the core of this mission for international rooftops, over the past year, International Rooftops collaborated with housing organizations and social movements globally to advance housing rights and strengthen co-op housing system, and to strengthen, as I mentioned, the cooperative housing system in some of the world's most challenging contexts.
This project, active in Angola, Kenya, South Africa, and Uganda. This project is helping women secure their rights to housing. With each home secured, each life transformed, Rooftops is part of a global movement for housing justice, made possible by the ongoing support of Canada's co-op housing community. So thank you all for being part of this international movement. Let's keep building a just and inclusive world, one home at a time. We will now introduce you to our board of directors. As I introduce each director, please stand in place and stay standing until the whole board is introduced. Members, please hold your applause until all directors are standing. Your regional directors are Allison Chase, Ontario, Dawn Obokata, Ontario, Marianne Hannett, Ontario, Cassia Cantrell, British Columbia and the Yukon, Claude Pépin, Quebec et Nunavut, Angela Simpson, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland and Labrador, Laura Williams, Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and your Indigenous Communities Director is April Agar White.
And Emmanuel Proud Thompson, representing New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Your at-large directors are John Bathurst, Lee Campbell, Sarah Jensen, Ann Davidson, Sahara Sheikh, and Nicole Waldron. John Bathurst is your treasurer. Nicole Waldron is your vice president.
And Cassia Cantro is your president.
Okay. And we will now do a test vote for both in-person and virtual delegates to make sure we're all comfortable using our voting devices. First, a bit of information on how the voting will work. Delegates here in the room, please get out your voting keypads. To vote, you simply select the number that corresponds to your choice, and that number will appear on your screen. You can change your selection up to the point we close the vote by simply selecting another number. Virtual delegates, a link to the voting platform and a session code was provided to you by email. Please open this link to your browser, put in the session code followed by your first and last name and the email address matching your registration. Once you have logged in, the voting options will appear on your screen. Click the numbered boxes at the bottom of your screen to vote. Okay, so here we go with our first test question. This one is quite serious, though, and requires some context. As anyone who will let me speak to them likely already knows, I got my motorcycle license a couple of years ago. In all honesty, I've been enjoying my midlife crisis very much. So I have a deep and abiding love for that motorcycle, and of course also for my son and my co-op housing and my own co-op. But I really do love that motorcycle. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to ride it into the meeting, to kickstart our business meeting with a brap? Your CEO, Tim? Yeah, he was a little less enthusiastic. It's okay, guys. We have a vote for you. So we're going to put it to a vote because this is a democratic process. For next year's AGM, should I bring the motorcycle? Answer 1 for absolutely. 2 for Cassia, we appreciate you, but please stick to co-op housing. And 3, what about a bicycle? Voting is easy. Just press either 1, 2, or 3, and your vote will be submitted. You can change your choice up to the moment when the vote is announced to be closed. And we'll give another 10 seconds or so, and then we'll close that test vote. I know it's a very challenging, difficult decision, and a very important one, and I want you to take your time to really think about it properly. Oh my goodness. Yes, on microphone 2, please state your name and co-op.
Joseph Cortland Elliott II, CD, Woodsworth Housing Cooperative, the best housing cooperative perhaps in Toronto. Just saying.
It's not a competition.
No, it is not. It is not. And I'm terribly impressed with Arcadia already. A point of information, A, B, C is 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, c'est 1, 2, 3.
ABC is 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
I'm going to reread those options. I don't need to, they're up on the screen, but I will state them again for you. So instead of 1, it's absolutely, I'm going to take that motorcycle, I'm going to bring it next year. 2 is B, don't do it. And 3 is C, bring a bicycle instead. Oh, that's not the right one, though. So I think we can close that vote. Please show the voting results. It looks like, do we have results? All right. I appreciate you. Okay, so now we have some Toronto trivia for you for our second and final test question. But thank you so much, you guys. So excited. The CN Tower is an enduring symbol of Canadian innovation, making the Toronto skyline distinct. How tall is the CN Tower? A, 1,815 feet. B, 3,001, pardon me? 2, I've got A, B, C. It's 1, 2, 3. What is it on the voting? It's both? Okay. So 1, 1,815 feet, 2, 3,015 feet, 3, 2,015 feet, or 4, 2,958 feet. This is an important one. You got to get this one right, guys. Okay. So I think we can close the vote. Please show the voting results. And if you guessed 1,815 feet or knew it was correct, you are correct. Now that you've got the hang of it, we're going to do a real vote. This vote will appoint the chair of the 2025 CHF Canada business meeting. Our meetings run smoothly, not only because of your cooperation and respect for each other, but also because of the great work and preparation done by our annual meeting chair. We are very happy that Marianne Hannett has agreed to take on this vital role, as she did last year. I will now call for a mover and seconder to appoint Marianne Hannett as chair of the CHF Canada's annual general meeting. Please come to one of the floor microphones and state your name and co-op for the minutes. Microsoft number 2. Or, sorry, microphone. My goodness. I figure you probably knew what I meant, though.
I'll miss that window. Danny Lubert, Co-op Housing Federation of BC.
Thank you, Danny. And do we have a seconder? Microphone number 1.
Olivia Martin from Birch Glen Co-op.
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Olivia Martin, Birch Glen Co-op.
Do we have that for the minutes? We're good? Okay. Okay. And now we will conduct the vote. Delegates in the room and online can now vote on the motion. Please cast your vote. Okay. Voting is now closed. Please show the results. Thank you, everyone, and welcome, Marianne.
Good morning. Oh, is this mic on? Yes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my hometown. Good morning. It's a bit tricky. You don't want to be too presumptuous, but you also don't want to be too far away, so it takes a long time to get up here. So I was trying to strike the balance there. It's so nice to see so many old friends and meet so many new friends as well. For the minutes, I will state that the meeting notice was sent on May 1st, 2025. On that date, we had 962 voting members. Quorum is 15% of the members on that date, which is 144 delegates. The number of delegates registered today, both in person and online, is 206, so we have well more than quorum. The agenda is in your meeting book. It's on page 1 in both the English and French books, and you'll see it here on the slides as well. I'd like to call for a mover and a seconder to approve the agenda, please. So you see the balloons, that's so that I can more easily see the microphones. And then once you are called on, they'll switch on your microphone. And if you can please just clearly state your name and your co-op for the minutes. I see microphone number 3.
Yes, Tim Mollison, Bread and Roses Cooperative Homes.
Thank you. And microphone number 2?
Cortland Elliott, Woodsworth Housing Cooperative. We would second this motion.
Thank you very much. Yes, can you go to... Okay, I'll wait for you to get to a microphone, please, David.
Can I bring it to him?
It's okay, he's on his way.
It'll be easier to navigate instead of fighting these chairs.
And David, I know you, but when the microphone's ready, if you could just state your name and your co-op for the minutes, please.
David Corson, Fairley Park Housing Co-op in the wonderful city of Ottawa.
Thank you.
I'll do that once.
And your amendment?
I wish to amend for the announcement of the elections that there may be a point of order in that how the bylaws are being interpreted to run elections.
And you wish that to happen at the point in which we're talking about the elections?
At the point after we've mentioned, because it's done.
Okay.
We can't change that.
Okay. So I will note that. And I also would encourage you, David, to go to the resolutions table, and thank you for the plug for the resolutions table. So the resolutions table is way on my far right. Karen Brodeur is waving her hand. You may or may not be able to see her. This is for everyone's information. If you have any amendments or emergency resolutions that you wish to discuss, please head there first. And it's possible, David, that Karen will be able to help you. Okay. So I'm not going to consider that an amendment because it is may or may not be raised later as a point of information, so we don't need to amend the agenda for that. So I will now call on the vote for the agenda. Can we have that up? Thank you. So the motion to approve the 2025 AGM agenda, A, support, B, opposed, or C, abstain. Or 1, 2, 3, both are on the keypads. So 1, 2, 3, ABC. There's a song like that, I think. I'm not going to sing it. Okay, we'll just give a couple more seconds for the vote. And you can go ahead and close that, please, and share the results. All right, that passes. Thank you very much. The next item is the minutes of the 2024 National Business Meeting that was held in Winnipeg. They also have been on the CHF Canada AGM website since May 1st. I'd like to call for a mover and a seconder, please, if you can make your way to the microphones. I should point out that microphone number 4, which is in the back on my right, is lower for people who require a lower microphone. I think I see someone at microphone 3.
Hi, Kayla Powell from Westminster.
Thank you. So you're moving the motion?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Is there a seconder? Microphone 2.
Brenna Flynn from Lavender Lane Co-op.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any errors in the minutes? I don't see anyone at the microphones. Okay, then we have that vote, please. Motion to approve the 2024 AGM minutes. A for support, or 1. B or 2 for opposed. C or 3 for abstain. Okay, we'll just a couple more seconds. You can go ahead and close that vote, please, and share the results. All right, thank you very much. That motion carries. So I have a little bit of information for you and some hopefully helpful hints. As you've already been told, the meeting will be conducted in both English and French. If you have not yet picked up your interpretation device, you still have the opportunity out that door in the hallway. And there's details on how to use the device on page 91 in the English book and page 95 in the French book. This is a harassment and discrimination-free meeting. If you think that you have experienced harassment or discrimination from another participant and would like CHF Canada to help you look for a solution, please go to the CHF Canada conference office. Details about this policy are on page 91 in the English book and page 95 in the French. We in the co-op sector are big fans of acronyms. We have a lot of acronyms, and it's easy to get kind of lost in them. So if someone uses an acronym that you're not familiar with, you can start by heading to page 92 and 93, because there's so many it goes on 2 pages, of the English book, and pages 96 and 97 in the French book. There's a pretty useful guide right there. If you're looking for washrooms, they're on every floor, including a gender-neutral washroom on the first floor just outside of the International Ballroom. If at any point in the day you're not feeling well or you need medical assistance, we do have medical volunteers at the back of the room. Just so you know, there is no fire alarm testing scheduled for today. Well, so what that means is if you hear a fire alarm, please exit. If you have, I mentioned this in passing a couple of minutes ago, but if you have any questions about any of the resolutions, you can go to the resolution table on my far right. CHF Canada staff will be there all day. They can answer questions, and they can also support delegates if you want to propose an amendment or submit a late resolution. Today, as it stands, we have 3 resolutions. We're going to deal with 1 before lunch and then 2 this afternoon, followed by the financial business, which also has a number of resolutions. If you do want to make an amendment or suggest an emergency resolution, please visit that table soon. We need time to translate things before they can be brought to the table. And if you have a late resolution, you'll need to go to the table before 1 o'clock in order for us to have time to deal with that today. Also, if you are sitting there thinking, I have something I'd like to bring about as a late resolution, there are criteria for that. It has to address circumstances that have arisen since the resolution deadline or deal with matters that could not have been anticipated before the deadline. Our rules of order, we try to keep them pretty straightforward so that everybody can follow them. They are on page 2 of the meeting book. And as I said before, if you wish to speak, just go to the microphone. I'm trying to keep an eye on them, although the lights are very bright. And I will try my best to get to you in the order that you get to the microphones. It might be out of order a little bit, but everyone will have an opportunity to speak. If you are speaking to a resolution, it's really helpful to start by saying whether you support it or not, so that the members know where you are beginning from. It's not always clear in the preamble that people give. So it's really useful if you stand up and you say, I'm Marianne Hannett from the Cooperative Housing Federation. I wish to speak in favor of this resolution, and then make your remarks. Of course, we want to hear from all delegates, but let's try not to be too repetitive. If you are waiting in line to speak and another speaker makes the point you wanted to speak, consider stepping back, and also be respectful of other members' point of view. For our virtual delegates, please use the raised hand option in your Zoom reactions if you wish to move or second a motion, or if you wish to speak to a resolution or raise a question about any report, use the Zoom chat feature. We have staff to my right who are keeping an eye on that, and they will signal to me if anyone online wishes to speak. And then the staff person will read out your comment just as if you were at a floor mic. Okay. Those are all my helpful hints for the day. Now I'm going to turn things back over to Cassia and also to CHF Canada's Chief Executive Officer, Tim Ross, to present the annual report.
Careful, guys, I'm going to get used to being up here. Hello again, cooperators. It's wonderful to be here with so many of you from every corner of Canada, bringing your time, energy, and commitment to our shared cooperative housing movement. Today, we make decisions together. And it's this democratic process that lays the foundation for a strong, sustainable future. After all, democratic member control isn't just a value, it's one of the international cooperative principles. As president of your CHF Canada board, I'm proud to present this year's annual report alongside our CEO, Tim Ross. 2024 was a pivotal year for our movement, a year marked by growth, milestones, and meaningful progress. This time last year in Winnipeg, we celebrated the launch of the Co-op Housing Development Program. And let's be clear, this was historic. There was not a dry eye in that co-op common room. It's the first federal program dedicated to building co-op housing in more than 3 decades. We are back. Though in truth, we never really left. Many of you worked tirelessly to keep co-op development alive. You chased every lead, explored every partnership, applied for every grant relentlessly. But this is different. This is a turning point. This is renewed partnership with the federal government, and with it, unprecedented opportunity to build new co-ops, yes, but also to show what our sector can do when we have the resources, that we can be a significant partner to build new stock of permanently affordable co-op housing. CHF Canada has created a full suite of resources and supports for members and members-to-be to help you explore your development aspirations and opportunities and turn viable opportunities into new co-op communities. Our development essentials and development enhanced offerings are designed to meet your needs wherever you are on your development or redevelopment journey. And this new federal program is just the beginning. It opens doors to other partners. It sharpens our sector's capacity to develop. And more than anything, it reminds us, no, it cements for us why this movement matters. We are here to transform lives through the power of cooperative housing. We are here to make co-op housing for all a reality. And that vision has never been more urgent. Yes, we celebrate this new development program, but we also must speak plainly about the world we're in. A deeply entrenched housing crisis, the looming threat of a recession, growing polarization, climate change and instability, and yes, democratic backsliding just across our border. So where do we fit in? You already know the answer. Co-op housing has long been an empowerment response to exclusion and insecurity. People came together to build safe, supportive communities. And when people have that foundation, secure homes and democratic control, they flourish. They pursue their goals. They give back. And that's how co-op housing changes lives. And that is the co-op difference. So when the Prime Minister said in the last election, we need to build, baby, build, I thought, well, we've got just the partners for you. Because yes, we're ready to build, but our movement can do so much more.
Well, we have a level of opportunity before us that we've not had for some time. The mayor this morning really challenged us to kick it up a notch. And we do have the resources and the momentum to go there. And I know that together we can level up to that ambitious vision of scaling up our sector so that anybody who wants to accept the responsibilities and benefits of membership in a co-op home can do so, and that we can do that together. In order to support the growth of our sector, we must also maintain a very strong foundation. This past year as an organization, we took significant steps to make sure that members have what's needed in order to thrive today and into the future. Nous savons que le personnel et les
We know that staff and managers are essential for the success of cooperative communities. We have maintained our staff and we want to ensure management of cooperative housing. We want it to be an attractive occupation. Nous voulons strengthen cooperative housing.
Services and programs is an absolute key member service. In today's challenging world, we need security and peace of mind, and we're committed to working with you to expand our risk management program to make sure that insurance costs remain manageable and accessible to members. By working together to understand and better manage the risks that we face in running our co-op communities, everyone benefits in our movement with greater security and peace of mind, and we're on this path with you. In Ontario, we face a daunting transition. For housing services co-ops, for housing co-ops legislated under the Housing Services Act at end of mortgage, we know that this has been a challenging transition, one that's made complex by devolution upon devolution and a complex administrative framework for supporting housing cooperatives. We are working together as a sector to chart a more sustainable path forward. And we have previously secured funding from the province of Ontario for HSA co-ops to support this transition around end of mortgage. And we're working closely with Federation partners to use that funding to support asset management plans for co-ops coming out to the end of mortgage, with a strong sense of the physical and financial health of cooperatives. We'll know what's needed to be successful in the future, and we hope you will participate in this programming alongside regional federation partners in Ontario. Dans notre programme d'éducation,
in our education programs, we want to diversify our offerings to ensure that the cooperative approach continues. This is an important aspect of our movement, and we also continue to offer financial service, asset management services. Our team of specialists can help you in managing your procurement and for guaranteeing the financial security of your co-op in the future.
Strategic moves this year aimed at the long-term sustainability of our movement. CHF Canada acquired additional shares in Incasa Financial to ensure that housing co-ops have access to sound investment products designed to maximize returns on your investments in order to protect your futures. With low management expense ratios and a team that understands co-op and nonprofit housing, access to these long-term investments are vital for our future, and our increased share in Incasa ensures strong alignment with our movement. Furthermore, we became a founding partner in Boan Social Impact. There's a trend in Canada now and globally to invest in ways that more directly benefit community. As a partner with Boan, we are investing in supporting entrepreneurship amongst racialized communities, supporting social and economic development with Indigenous communities, working to tackle climate challenges and adaptation, and yes, looking to make even more sizable investments and sustainable investments in the development of new co-op and nonprofit housing. So now, as a social purpose investor, Boan and CHF Canada's partnership in part of Boan is helping to provide access to financing for investments that are people and planet focused.
Development is critical. So is ensuring our existing co-ops remain strong, well-governed, well-maintained, well-run, and welcoming places to live that will endure for generations. That's what all these programs and services are about. And there's a direct connection between our current communities and the ones yet to come. When we bring decision makers to visit co-ops, they see what they're investing in. A well-managed co-op with high-quality asset management makes the case for itself. But when maintenance is deferred or governance is strained, it's harder to make that case. I know it's not always easy to raise housing charges or reserves to fund the long-term maintenance, repairs, and renewals necessary to keep your co-op buildings and grounds in good repair into the future, but those tough decisions are essential for your co-op's success and for the co-ops not yet built. Future generations are counting on you, and I know you have it in you.
So it's amazing that at this time last year, we launched the Co-op Housing Development Program, $1.5 billion of new investment in co-op housing, the first federal reinvestment in co-op housing in 30 years. This wouldn't have happened without the activism of the grassroots and the participation of our membership. That is fantastic. And we could, glide a little bit after such a big achievement, but no. There's much expected upon us, and we did not let up on the gas. In fact, we've been quite relentless in our advocacy in the last year. Another important way to grow the availability of co-op housing in our communities is to purchase rental housing and convert that rental housing into cooperative homes. Many of you will have heard about the great work of Caroline Co-op, celebrated yesterday in the opening plenary. We have members of a new cooperative in New Brunswick called The Range here at this annual meeting, a recently acquired rental community that's turned into a cooperative with the power of membership. Well, we need to scale this up. And our movement has a long history of this type of conversion work. And now with rents skyrocketing, rent evictions are far too common. And given the economic challenges we're facing, the Canadian dollar is dropping and external money is coming in and buying rental housing, threatening to evict communities. So it's time for us to scale up the way we do acquisition as a sector. So through advocacy, in the 2024 budget, the federal government committed to funds for this purpose of acquiring rental housing and converting it into nonprofit and cooperative housing at scale. We have worked hard with our friends in the nonprofit and Indigenous-led urban, rural, and northern Indigenous housing sectors to put forward proposals to the federal government for turning this budget promise into a reality. And we're now focused on getting these funds out the door so that we can see more co-ops and nonprofits in our neighborhoods. If we're successful, we'll see even more rapid progress towards co-op housing for all. Et aussi, l'aide au loyer
and rent supports are essential for our community. Rent supports from the government. Without them, our co-ops could not use a mixed basis of funding. This is an effort which will be continuing until 2028. In December, the government made a commitment to make a 5-year extension of this program beyond 2028 until 2035. We need a permanent program for the existing co-ops and for new co-ops.
In provinces where rental assistance programs are not as readily available and the federal program does not apply, we have had some success in some provinces, but not everywhere. And this is unacceptable because housing is a human right, and having access to rental assistance should not depend on your postal code and what province you live in. And that brings me to a final point on advocacy that I saved until now, because I really want you to take it away and consider your own action alongside CHF Canada. We have not succeeded in securing a fully funded urban, rural, and northern Indigenous housing strategy in Canada, despite promises and despite funds being committed in federal budgets. Too many Indigenous people are without safe, affordable, and culturally appropriate homes. We know that co-op and nonprofit housing developed and delivered by and for Indigenous communities is the solution from the ground up. Anything less is unacceptable. Anything less is not reconciliation. So we will continue to push, but I urge you to do the same. And we are also, I do want to just take a second to step away from my notes to share a bit of a story. Many of you have approached me and asked me about this beaded work that I'm wearing with the CHF Canada logo. This is a very touching gift received earlier this week. Earlier this week, we hosted the first Indigenous gathering at the CHF Canada annual meeting. We have we recognize and challenge ourselves to continuously reflect on how we can be in better relationship to decolonize and to create community in our co-op movement in partnership with Indigenous communities. And we have undertaken a very deep exercise in reflection and received guidance on our organizational work from a steering group and an engagement process that was fully for Indigenous by Indigenous led. So the recommendations coming out of this project were recently received by the board, and the expectations are physically manifested in this artifact, which I will ensure that we continue to progress on. So thank you for this. This is a physical manifestation of our commitment to reconciliation going forward.
You're stealing my thunder. As your board president, I must recognize the work of your Indigenous Communities Director, April Ager-White, as it relates to all of what Tim just talked about. With the board and management's full support, April led an Indigenous community housing cooperative membership and governance review rooted in Indigenous perspectives and lived experience. It explored issues of colonization and systemic racism and explored opportunities for meaningful change. It's been a thoughtful and necessary process. We're open to change, especially when that change is led by those most affected. We look forward to the outcomes of this work and to welcoming a stronger Indigenous voice, not only at our board table, but influencing everything we do. And that's not all. Your board is looking ahead with bold strategic vision. We are always seeking opportunities to better meet the needs of our members. We want to grow as an organization while remaining a top employer, one that lives its commitment to good governance. We are currently investing in new technology to ensure that our services and programs are accessible to all members, because what's the point of having them if they don't meet you where you are? All of this is possible because of a stable dues base, because of all of your commitment to CHF Canada. This allows us to invest so that we can bring even more value to you and ultimately grow our movement. All of this is possible because of you, your commitment to CHF Canada, through your membership dues that make all of this possible. And while I won't spoil the Treasurer's report, John, I will say this. The odds are very good that we can deliver all of this while keeping dues increases below inflation. Let me end by looking to the year ahead. Whoop. That's the end of my notes. Thanks. Well, there's always got to be something, guys. Okay. I'm wrap up by looking big and forward. 2025 is the UN's International Year of Cooperatives. It's an important opportunity to highlight that the co-op housing movement is part of something much bigger. There are worker co-ops, producer co-ops, consumer co-ops, and more all over the world. We are part of a movement that sees a different way of making decisions and a more just and inclusive world. CHF Canada is part of that. You are a part of that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Tim.
Thank you for that, Cassie and Tim. Do we have any questions? Yes, microphone 2.
It's a comment. Donald Altman, Church Isabella, Toronto. So as far as I'm concerned, the work is not done on the FCHI program, because if we continue to manage it as we have to 2035, we're going to be in a disastrous situation. We have not received an increase over the period that we've been involved, and we can't continue to sustain that. So our work on that area is not finished, and I hope that you will continue to argue that we need inflationary increases for that, not just for our dues.
Thank you, Don, for that comment. Okay, get your keypads ready. I'm sorry, microphone number 1.
I wonder what new technologies are being planned, just broad brush strokes.
What new technologies are being planned? Shouldn't have sat down yet, Tim. Microphone 2, please.
Thanks for the question. Certainly, an area where we've been investing in technology improvements that are accessible to members relate to online learning platforms. We continue to expand the availability of online learning. And the other investments are really just related to helping to build a stronger back office for CHF Canada. We've seen significant growth over the last 5 years in our budgets and our people, and the complexity of our programs have increased. So as a result, we have to just build up our back office with a stronger tech platform. So that's generally what we're working towards. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, I don't see anyone else. I will carry on. It's time for our first resolution. You'll find the resolutions policy in the meeting book on page 10 in both the English and French. According to our policy, we always begin with resolutions that propose a bylaw change. Our first resolution is updates to bylaw number 1. This resolution was submitted by the CHF Canada Board of Directors. I will read it in full and then seek a mover and a seconder. And by in full, I just mean the resolution, not the bylaw. I am not going to read you the bylaw. Thank you. That, as a special resolution, bylaw number 1 of the Cooperative Housing Federation of Canada be amended as attached. There are lots of amendments. They're on page 13 of the meeting book. And now I'm going to ask for a mover and a seconder to proceed with discussion. So please clearly state your name and the name of your co-op. Someone heading to microphone 1? Yep, microphone 1.
Monica Taylor, Spring Hill Ranch, Calgary, Alberta.
Thank you. And microphone number 3.
Rita DeAndrews, Britannia Glen Co-op. I second it.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm going to invite April Agar-White to floor mic to provide the Board of Directors' perspective. April is at microphone number 2.
Thank you, Marianne. This resolution is about CHF Canada's bylaw number 1. This bylaw defines issues related to membership, meetings of members, the Board of Directors, officers, and related issues. Through this resolution, the Board is proposing updates to the bylaw. This is because we wanted to make it more user-friendly by clarifying some of the terms. We also wanted to make sure the details of membership outlined in the bylaw reflect current language and practices. A subcommittee of the Board of Directors was struck to oversee the drafting of these proposed updates, particularly as it relates to membership. Legal counsel was present in our meetings to ensure alignment with relevant legislation and association practices. The full Board of Directors then reviewed and approved the draft updates for the consideration of the membership at the 2025 annual meeting today. This is what is before you today. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, April. I see people moving to a mic. I will start with microphone number 2.
Thank you. Donald Altman, Church Isabella again. You're all going to be sick of me by the end of the day and wish that I stayed away longer than I have. So I don't know what to tell you about whether I'm for or against the resolution until you answer a couple of questions. Then I'll tell you, and then I'll may or may not have comments depending on the answers to my question. So my first question is, so my problem is Article 407B on page 61 of the English version.
Okay.
Okay? It has to do with partial terms.
Yes.
So my first question is, who is actually appointing the directors when there is a vacancy for these partial terms, and in particular, regional directors?
Okay. So your question is, if there is a partial term and the board chooses to appoint...
If a regional director were to leave and there were to be a vacancy, what is the process for filling that vacancy?
I will try, and Tim will jump in if I miss something. So the process would be similar to what many co-ops have in their own bylaws, which is the board has the ability to choose any qualified person to fill the vacancy. Yes? Or choose not to. They could hold a by-election, or they could leave the seat vacant until the next annual meeting.
Okay, so the second question I have relates to my not quite understanding, or maybe I do understand, the actual context of B. So if I understand B correctly, does it mean that the board could appoint somebody who would be on the board for as much as 2.5 years?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm opposed, and the reason I'm opposed is that most organizations do not do this. Most organizations have the person appointed until the next annual meeting, and then the election would be for a 1 or 2 year term, depending on what was left of the person's term who left, and that would preserve the rotation of the number of directors each year. The concern that I have about this is that I feel that the election process already has sort of an undercurrent, and I apologize for the use of this language, the old boys network of, picking people that people know and it not being a fair and open process, and the consequence of that, particularly the length of this. So I appreciate that this is not the time to organize about this because I just haven't put the energy into it. So I'm not here to move an amendment because I'm sure it won't pass. But I would encourage the board to rethink this section because I have always heard rumblings over the years about how some people feel about the election, and as recently at this meeting, concerns about the fact that we didn't have an election in some areas because we couldn't get nominations, and maybe we didn't get nominations because people felt it was a closed shop. This will just reinforce it. So I would please ask that you go back and rethink whether or not we should amend this next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. I think we have someone at microphone 4.
Christine Rogalski from Brighton Yards Housing Co-op. I have a bit of a concern. I don't know if this is something that could be addressed in an amendment. Section 2.12, page 26 and 56. The previous version of that section said that members will have at least 30 days written notice if their membership is being terminated. The new version just says written notice in advance of the termination date, but there's no deadline given, and notice 1 day before isn't really notice. So there does need to be a minimum time frame in there.
Okay, thank you. I have microphone 2. Yep, that's you, David.
Just making sure. Dave Corson, Fairley Park Housing Co-op, Ottawa. First of all, I'd like the chair to be aware, a point of information for you. I did not get a delegate's handbook. Therefore, I have not been able to go over the information in advance. Now, full disclosure to everyone else in the room, being on the National Finance and Audit Committee, I kind of saw some of these ahead of time. But it's just that I'm not sure everyone was given fair access. I want to ensure that nobody thinks this is a duty to accommodate issue, because CHF has done 85, 90+% of duty to accommodate, and if they miss one thing, that's hard to pick on. So I don't want people to think that, because I don't think that's what it is today. Now, my point of information, because I haven't read it, I apologize, does this involve how we conduct our elections?
I do not believe that there are any changes to the election process in this bylaw.
That's all I wish to ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have microphone number 4.
Cortland Elliott, Woodsworth Housing Cooperative. I'm lowering myself to the level here. I'm going through this, I confess, for the first time, but one thing that sort of jumped out to me, and I'm not 100% sure how to read this, it seems that the definition of co-op has been removed from Article 1 definitions. Oh, now that's a clever idea. Thank you. Maybe I'm misreading this, but I'm in other documents. Sometimes red means it's gone. Sometimes red stroke through means, yeah, we had it and it's gone. I'm just not entirely clear on how good standing and then housing co-op. Okay, I submit that the one with the red seems to be poorly addressed. Thank you.
1.0L for people who are trying to find it. Okay, thank you. I do not see anyone else at the microphone, so I'm going to ask for the vote, please. The resolution again is that as a special resolution, bylaw number 1 of the Cooperative Housing Federation of Canada be amended as attached. A, support. B, opposed. C, abstain. Or 1, 2, 3. Okay, just a few more seconds for people to make their selection. Okay, you can go ahead and close the vote, please, and show the results. Okay, so thank you. This, in fact, does not meet the 2/3 majority. So this is a bylaw change. It requires a 2/3 majority, and by 0.1%, we did not achieve that. So the motion is not carried. Okay, we're going to switch gears at this point, and I'm going to ask April Agar-White to come up to the stage and designate a new Honorary Life Associate for CHF Canada. So April will present that award. Oh, microphone 2.
Sarah Manley, Tanglewood Orchard.
Sorry, could you speak up just a little bit?
Sarah Manley, Tanglewood Orchard Co-op. I thought the 2/3 majority was after the abstentions.
Could we have the results up again, please? Because you're correct. Yes, you're correct. When we take the abstentions out, it does carry. Thank you for that. Okay, phew. Appreciate that. And April is making her way up.
Thank Thank you, Marianne. I have the extraordinary privilege of introducing someone whose footsteps I am so honored to be walking in. As the Director of Indigenous Communities on the board of CHF Canada before I took on the role, Tina Stevens laid the groundwork many years ago as the first then called Aboriginal Community Director in 1996 and again in 2018. Tina was CHF Canada's president in 2020. Tina has dedicated her life to Indigenous leadership, both in and out of the co-op housing context. Her contribution has included advocacy for Indigenous communities, for the Indigenous Communities Director seat on the CHF Canada board, and as a member of Native Intertribal Housing Cooperative. Throughout her roles, Tina has maintained a belief that housing co-ops provide a safe environment for members and their families to connect with their culture, community, maintain self-respect and respect for Mother Earth, find employment, access higher education, and nurture the seeds for future generations. Tina is an Algonquin Ojibwe woman from Kitigan-Zibi, Kettle and Stony Point, who has lived in London, Ontario her whole life. She has 3 strong sons and attributes her energy to having been raised by a strong mother, a great community elder in her own right. Please join me in watching this brief video highlighting Tina. Please join me in welcoming Tina Stevens to the stage to accept the Honorary Life Associate recognition. And as a bit of an addition, I want to honor Tina with this gift from the Indigenous Housing Cooperatives in London, Ontario, and I give you this with our deepest gratitude and our most sincere thanks. Oh, please speak. Just say whatever.
Honey and Bojo, me meets the Disney cause, Kiriganzibi, the Donjaba, Mong Nadolam, and Neshnabe Kway. On my status card from colonialization, my English name is Tina Stevens. And my elders, my grandmothers, and my mother provided me in a naming ceremony and gave me the name Little Pigeon, Mimins. And coming from the Algonquin territory, which is about 2 hours north of Ottawa, and as well, which was a part of the settlement with respect to the Parliament Hill. It's been a part of my nation, but I don't speak my language of Algonquin. That's where the majority of my father's sides live, which is in around Maniwaki, Quebec. My clan is the Loon Clan. And very much like what I stood for the Cooperative Housing Federation of Canada, was that it was a communication. And that communication, in specifically the Loon, was that you had to build bridges and you had to be able to receive information from the leadership and then to be able to convey that to the members that needed to hear that information. So in all of the roles that I play, even as being president for the Cooperative Housing Federation of Canada, it was being able to receive the information from the members. It was you, the members, that directed the course of action of the Board of Directors. It directed the vision. It directed the paths in the building of those bridges to now be able to stand before you again with that upsurge in the creation, in the building of cooperative housing on a national basis once again. And specifically, with the focus on Indigenous communities, as our communities do not have enough space to be able to hold all of the members of those communities. And they are now coming into the urban settings. And so the cooperative housing really relates to, in regards to how we conduct ourselves. It's not only that we are taking care of our elders, taking care of our children, making sure what is here and what we leave for our future generations is still intact. And so for me, it was very easy to get into cooperative housing, where I lived as a child. And I grew up in the cooperative housing. And it was instilled in me in regards to if I wanted to be able to grow, if I wanted to be able to succeed, if I wanted to expand my opportunities in my paths, whether it was education, whether it was employment, whether it was understanding my own truths, that I had to build the foundation. And where best to build that foundation was to be able to live in stable and safe, affordable housing. And that became my focus because the fact that not only allowed me to have that roof over my head and to establish my roots within the community, but it as well empowered me to be able to do a lot more outside, along with raising a beautiful family. And they are now having the successes because of the provisions and the access and the benefits of living in cooperative housing for many years with me. There is still sometimes a long way to go because I know that CHF Canada has moved towards those building of bridges and being able to create those reparations for Indigenous people on Turtle Island by involving itself in reconciliation. It's not just a word, it's not just a check that they've taken, because they now are believing, they now have instilled it, they have it in their spirit to make change. Just as members in the general housing cooperatives have had to make those changes over decades. And we're still here. Cooperative housing members and Indigenous peoples are still here because of our resilience, our determination, the honor and respect that we have for one another. We join hands, we stand together, we sit in our circles because we're all equal as members. And that's important because it is important within our community that we come together to be able to have those discussions, to be able to look out for our leaders, the women, the strong women in our communities that watch out for the leaders that are going to carry the messages and carry the future generations, and to be able to protect what we've had, whether it's the lands, the resources, and our members over decades since the initiation of cooperative housing. They thought we were dead because they cut off the funding of any new housing cooperative. Now, again, we come back in that circle, and they realize that we are once again strong, and that we should be involved, we should be consulted, and that we need to be active going forward to be able to address many of the factors that have built such a housing crisis all across Canada. So I stand here today because it was through the housing cooperative and being as a CHF Canada president, as well as a long time ago, being the president of the Ontario Council. I can't forget that leg and that link and that legacy as well. There were many people that are here that are my mentors and have been my mentors for many years. There are friends, and there are people here that are my family today. And they enriched me as a person. They enriched my life when we crossed paths. And so being able to look at what has been accomplished, I was able to find that advocacy. I was able to find that strength in parallel to our 7 grandfather teachings, to be brave, to be honest, to find our truth, to have that courage, to find that love. There's a number of things, all of those things have to be instilled in my spirit so I can walk the right path. And if it wasn't for the ability to have stable housing and affordable housing and safe housing, I would not have been able to walk that right path as easily as I have done for many decades now. Because moving into my unit back in 1994, that was a big step for me. So I am truly humbled. I am truly thankful. And I appreciate everyone in the room, even if I haven't met you yet. Because I know that you're going to keep this cooperative housing going forward, and you're going to achieve the successes hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, one step at a time, going forward. Miigwech.
Thank you, Tina. Okay, lunchtime. A couple of things to say. Yeah, yay. Yay for lunchtime. A couple of things to say. First, of course, we are deeply appreciative of our lunch sponsor, Cooperators, for their support over the years and for supporting today's event. Couple of other things for people. Please allow people with accessibility needs to get their food first. So if you use a wheelchair, a walker, or any other mobility advice, please make your way to the front of the line. Once you have your food, bring it back to the tables, and there are volunteers on hand to assist if you need that. As well, there are separate food areas for those with dietary restrictions, such as gluten-free and halal. Please make sure to only go to those tables if that's food that you require. Now, we are running a little bit late, so we're going to cut your lunch just a bit. We're going to take 50 minutes instead of an hour. It's 12:30, so we will be back at 1:20 promptly. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your lunch.